Would you like to support Cubs Out Loud? One way is to join us over on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, patrons get early access to our shows, the pre- and post-show, and various other rewards. You can learn more at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud. Thanks to all our patrons for their support in making this podcast. It's Sunday, November 3rd, 2024. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Damon.
I don't brew the tea, I just serve it.
And that makes me Gary.
Everyone else is thinking it, and I just say it.
Welcome to Cubs Out Loud, the Bear Podcast of Indeterminate Length, episode number 761. And it's that time again, folks. It's time to find out what's been going on. Wow. That's pretty much it.
Did something happen?
14 to 1580s. Like I'm like a couple bars away from 80 on one character that I had to stop leveling because I was doing the podcast. So everything's been pretty much, I got into WoW and it's sunk its hook into me. I've been intrigued by delves and the crafting system and having fun raiding. It's got the 20th anniversary WoW celebration. Oh, did I mention that I've been playing WoW since the beta? That's how long I've been playing WoW, with kind of a stint off during Shadowlands. But in general, I'm still playing Final Fantasy. It's still there. There's a new content patch coming up soon. That'll be fun. But I kind of wanted. I'm thinking I'm gonna eventually get everything in rotation. Where I'm gonna play a little WoW, I'm gonna play a little Final Fantasy, depending on the day, and just kind of like do a nice little, just kind of figuring out that process. The only problem is in Final Fantasy 14, I'm crazy, and because of what I do in WoW, I have alts. I've got 6 characters from Final Fantasy, but I have 39 in WoW. 39 because there's 39 specs, and one of them I had just created this month because I finally broke down and decided, okay, I wanted to have an equal number of characters in each faction, Alliance and Horde. And 39 doesn't work that well. At the beginning of Dragonflight, when they created the new class Evoker, Evokers had 2 specs. They had Devastation and Preservation. Then when I kind of jumped back into WoW about a year and a half ago, they had created a 3rd spec mid-expansion called Augmentation. So it went from 38 specs, so I had a nice, even amount of characters on each side, to having to have one extra. I've been trying to decide whether I actually wanted to do that, to actually break the faction equality. And I did. And they're Horde, because I'm Horde stand. And you guys have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about.
That is a fair statement
Vaguely
from my
understand.
end. But good on you.
Yeah. So I've been just deep diving into WoW, trying to get his crafting. I'm like, oh, hey, I can craft people some pretty cool weapons. What do I need to craft? And how do I do it? And I need to make sure I got the specialization points correct. And I need to divide each of my blacksmiths up. One will be like for the specialist for profession tools and uh, reagents for crafting. Well, my then I'll have one for weaponsmithing and one for armor smithing. But I've got to have that same thing over on the alliance side because I'm my quote unquote main character is Horde Death Knight, and then I had to figure out for my inscriptionists, I needed to figure out which one's going to do the reagents and milling and one doing weapons, maybe doing the profession tools, leaning towards that. Oh, but there's the missives and the treatises that I need to kind of split up, but I only have like 3 on each faction, so I need to balance that out. And then I found out realized just today that oops, I was trying to pump all the points for this one tune, but I was actually starting to do this on the other tune, so that they're the same. I'm gonna have to rejigger it. The only thing is I can't refund the points, so it's gonna be a little wonky for a while. But if anything, at least know this one tune will definitely be able to craft the weapons, and that's gonna be important.
Okay.
I got a spreadsheet.
That sounds like me at work.
I need a new column.
Or just me in life.
I need a column to change to add in for my crafting professions what their specialization is, and I had a spreadsheet before. Now I have more reason why I need one is to keep track of all this. It has different tabs.
I've got. I feel like if that's not already a shirt, I feel like maybe not for this time, not for us. I'm just saying, like, I've got a spreadsheet. Like, I feel like that has to be a shirt. Hold on.
I'm sure it's a shirt.
Yeah, it's kind of a running joke at work that I'm very well organized. So, yes, it would make sense for me to say I have a spreadsheet.
Yeah. Definitely a shirt. Of course I have a spreadsheet.
I have one spreadsheet for my WoW characters. I have another spreadsheet for my Final Fantasy characters.
Ew. Ew.
I'm not an alcoholic.
Ew. Ugh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Don't mind me. I'm not ewing at you, Jeff. I'm ewing at the designs on some of these shirts.
Yeah, I figured it was something more like that. I was like, what are you looking at?
Of all the times you're not on mute.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe this is a shirt. Maybe there's a way we can bring this in as like a gamer cubs, nerdy gamer cubs, something like that. I don't know.
Maybe
we need a gamer series. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe. Are you finished?
Oh, yeah. Thought maybe I need Smash U to make me yeah, yes, I have 39 tubes. No, I'm not an alcoholic. What are you talking about? I need a design. I need that design.
You can pay him directly for that, and in the meantime, we can get his latest design uploaded.
Yes, that's on me. We'll work on that. Anyways, moving on. Damon?
Yeah. So B-Day vacay. Woo. Just, so this cub turned 45. Woo!
I'm right behind you.
Damn time.
Yeah, and did my traditional trip to go see AJ, who's Pupsio, who's been on the show, um, in the Maryland, DC area. Got to spend some lovely time with him, and we had some great conversations. We had some really great food, such great food, and we went out to the Baltimore Eagle for we didn't go last year because I didn't actually travel to DC area that year. He was out of town, so it had been 2 years since I had been to the Eagle, and wow, what a difference 2 years makes. Um, so I was actually looking at Facebook posts I had made about it 2 years ago while I was there, and I was like, yeah, I even commented on the blend of this bar and that it is a very interesting eagle. Um, they don't know what they want to be. It's a big complex. It's 2 floors. There's a lot of space, but it is just odd. And like for example, and I almost did this just for you, Gary. Um, that Saturday night when I was there, Mistress Isabel Brooks was headlining the show. And since we got there so early and bought food, we could have gotten into like a meet and greet with her. I am not, I will own, I'm not the biggest Mistress Isabel Brooks fan, but I did think about doing it just to get like a picture and yada, yada, yada. Like that was my only reason. So I could like share it with like our COL drag race folks and all of that stuff. But I decided against it because I knew I'm not the fan. I'm not the one that's like, oh my God, I can't wait to meet her because I genuinely don't care. Guess that's the shade. But
Well, you know.
but yeah, but yeah. So the but that was going on. So there was a drag show going on in some areas. There was not a costume contest, but people were dressed in costumes because it was before Halloween, kind of weekend thing. And then you have the um, sort of area that has um, like supposed to have a dress code. Code. That's what I'm keep forgetting the word. The code, and that's not being paid attention to. They were having an event called Sweat in this area, um, but it was just a sprawling area, and they had a DJ in a little dance floor in another area, and they had the bar, and the bartender was, you know, not, not naked, but just like wearing a jock and yada yada yada, and you could tell that people were essentially waiting for a certain area of the bar, the dark room, the black dark room, to open up, which it didn't open up until midnight. Um, and there was clearly like this palpable like sexual tension, just like an anticipation just in this room. And it was just like like it wasn't anyone like we could count on one hand, including us, the number of people that were actually in like a leather kind of look or wearing a leather like fit kind of thing. Most of the people were either in costumes or in like regular plain clothes or whatever. And it just felt awkward. And to the point where, especially when the upstairs did not open at midnight exactly, there was this like what the fuck ism like throughout like everything. People would come in and like go to where the door is supposed to be open and see that it was closed and just literally leave. And then 5 minutes later come back and just sort of like this back and forth like waiting. And it was so weird. And
I thought you were going to say entertaining.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't entertaining. It was not entertaining. Um it was honestly, it was a little depressing, in a way. It's just because, like, like if you actually had a conversation with someone that was sitting at the bar or someone else that was standing there waiting, maybe you could go like get your jolly somewhere else, like go to your house or invite someone over, or go to the other like bathhouses or something that are in the area, like do that. But whatever, it was fine. Uh, it just wasn't. It wasn't what it was 2 years ago, and it definitely wasn't what it was. I think the last time we went. There, like I said, there were no like leather folk. So it's weird to me that they call themselves an eagle because there's this like name recognition to that name, and this is not it. This was not it.
Well, I mean, I think the legacy of the Eagles, as in the bars, the clubs,
Mhm.
has been gone for decades.
Sure.
I remember when we had the one in Pittsburgh that people would come from like across the country, like just because, they had business there or were there for some reason. And would comment on how different it was and, versus the DC Eagle versus the Vegas Eagle or Chicago or Miami or whatever. And the reason why I mentioned it is because at one time, I don't know the real history. That would be interesting if we could have somebody on to talk about it. They were all inter-affiliated, like in terms of like branding and certain things. And I think a lot of that just went by the wayside because of various reasons. Kind of like the club bathhouses at one time
Mhm.
were all like integrated as a part of like a national chain. So I'm kind of not surprised to hear you say, it's not really
Yeah.
meeting expectation or aligning with what one would presume is the, expectation or
Yeah. Yeah.
presuming what it would be like.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm not. I guess there's a part of me that was expecting something um, a little different, especially when I mean, DC Eagle's been closed for a few years now. Um, but I was just expecting, I guess I was expecting something a lot different. And it's fine. Again, it served its purpose. Um, I just would love for them to figure out what they want to be, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But anyway, other than that, again, um, thanks Zio for hosting me and spending the weekend there. And now I'm back, and I'm starting for now. It's now the rush to holiday concert, and I have stuff also happening this month in November, and we'll talk about that at the next WGO. Gary.
This month kind of felt like a rebound a little bit. September, right after the busy travel and stuff I did in August, was it like a slump? There was just a lot of things going on. So I was happy that like October was mild and gave me the ability to like kind of regroup on some things and take care of little things. But yeah, so we had our site visit for work. I got more hours with my second job. Those had been reduced,
Oh,
so that had been difficult. So now I've got like I'm not where I used to be, but it's better than what it was.
oh, good.
So yeah. And what I realized is like this year has been financially challenging because I got a new car roughly 11 months ago. Because in about 2 weeks it'll be the anniversary of when my old car died.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like went through that whole journey And I'm just like, yeah, I wasn't planning on having a car payment. That was the big thing. So like that's what made things a challenge. But things have been okay. And it is officially fall. Like I know it's been fall, but like the weather is actually fall, like in terms of like, cooler weather and leaves and changing and falling and all that kind of stuff. So it's been that. Like I'm in the mood of like, I know pretty soon I'm gonna start drinking tea, like hot tea. And my mind is like going to like things to make. And so now it's like, ooh, it's time for like soup, chili, stew, like comforting kind of food things. So yeah.
Funny, I've already been in that mood.
Yeah. Yep.
Tasty.
Well,
All right.
sounds like it's time for a little feedback. Damon, I believe we've had a comment.
We did on our YouTube for COL754, which was Fat Bear Week 24. At Perry R. Harris commented, "This is why all the bears I know go for all you could eat sushi." And then winky smiley face.
Do you want to read that name again?
Did I say Peyton?
You said Perry.
Payson R. Harris.
You just gave him a new name.
Sure did. You're Perry now. Welcome to the world.
You've gone through the Damon Witness Protection Program. You have a new identity.
Something like that. I actually have not had all you can eat sushi, but I'm also not the biggest fan of sushi. I can eat some, don't get me wrong, but I am not a like. All you can eat sushi would not appeal to me in the same context I think it would others. If I were going with a bunch of friends, like maybe like that would be a thing, but not even just me and Jim. Like unless he really, really wanted to go or had a really good deal.
Yeah, it's funny that you were just saying that, and I was like, I enjoy sushi, but I don't know how I feel now in this day and age about all you can eat sushi.
Yeah.
Because usually an all you can eat is a sign of a cheap cost product that they're trying to move a lot of in the effort to like make a profit. So I don't think that bodes well when it comes to sushi. Like good quality sushi should not be cheap.
True.
So like even if they were like, we'll charge you $55 for all you can eat, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. That reminded me, Jim took me to my birthday dinner, and we went to a place called Embers, and because the reason the sushi thing reminded me is because they had sushi on the menu. They kind of do a steak seafood kind of. They have that kind of vibe. And he ordered a sushi as an appetizer. And I had a piece. It had some tempura crab, so I knew it was cooked in a way. So that helps me in a way. But I can eat some like raw sushi. It's not my like go-to.
I'm just not a fish person.
Yes.
I mean, that's also a big factor.
Yeah. There was a place called Fusian, Fusian. I don't know if they're still around. I know there was one downtown. They used to do a chicken sushi. It was actually pretty good because the chicken was marinated in like a soy kind of um, flavor, like a soy glaze kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and I used to get it because it was a good quick lunch that I could and I could have sushi without having sushi, if that makes sense. And yeah, but again, they weren't like this wasn't high like Gary was talking about. This wasn't like high quality. Like woo, like they were meant to be a like a Chipotle meets a sushi restaurant kind of thing.
Right.
So you had everything kind of, and you can pick and choose as you go.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that I know that like sometimes people make jokes about like convenience store sushi or truck stop sushi. Like
hmm
it makes you question whether or not that's a life choice you want to make.
Right.
So, yeah.
I do not. So Jeff, how about over on the Twitters?
Over on the Twitters, we've got new followers with Tony _ Gemini. Um, where is the break-in? Oh, Bison Tote.
Mm-hmm.
MG Addison 96641. Grizz Guy 619. I want to say Bearcast after
Bison Toad
that.
actually, Bison Toad actually lives nearby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do
Interesting.
you know them?
I've not met him in person. He has reached out a few times. We've talked.
Okay.
So he mentioned like wanting to like hear about the podcast. So I talked to him about that. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, X doesn't allow us to automatically post our show notifications, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
But hopefully you're subscribed on one of the platforms.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys,
All right.
Gary, what's been going on with our patrons?
We would like to celebrate our buddy level patron Lloyd for reaching their 5-year anniversary literally today because they joined
Woohoo!
November 3rd of 2019.
Wow.
That visual gag is so lost on all the listeners of the audio only podcast feed.
That's
They
fair.
missed that.
That's okay. That's okay.
So now you're gonna have to just go to YouTube and like scroll forward to this point in the show to be able to see that. Anyways, so yeah, thanks for the support, Lloyd. We very much appreciate it. So we want to give some big bear cub hugs to our patrons at the Cubster level: Charles W. and Michael K. At the Uber level, Dave T, Lee, and Michael Q, plus our buddies Lloyd G and Michael V. And yes, I still owe you guys some stuff to send out. I'm actually going to wait because we have a new design set of things that are coming to Zazzle. And I want to make sure that those are going to be available. We're kind of excited about it. And as you may have caught earlier, Smashy was involved in this process. So yeah, there's something coming. So
I've been very
There's
lazy.
always
I
coming.
apologize.
Something's coming, and you're definitely going to want to take a look at it. I don't.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say something cute, and it just never came out of my mouth.
Does it ever? No, more like truth. I was just referencing that I think that
I don't have that one
you
over. I
swallow.
don't have my fact fan in here.
Girl, you got to move all your pans in here.
I should. I meant to. I didn't want to be any later than I already was. Although that may be a thought. Anyway, moving on. Don't keep going.
All right. And then in terms of our recent shows, we actually had 5 shows. Normally it's just 3 or 4, but because of the way the month lined up, we had 5 Sundays in September. So we had episode 756, which was the September 2024 show. And then we had 757. This was a first for us. We did Fat Bear Week 2024, where we discuss the cultural phenomenon of the bracket contest to pick this year's fattest bear at an Alaskan wildlife refuge area. Yeah. So you need to go back and check that out. It's very interesting. And then we wrapped up our State Fair series for 2024 with parts 3 and part 4 that were a week apart, where we went to a couple different states and talked about like the newest items that were being introduced to see if there's anything that like titillates us in the culinary realm. And then last week, we had Cubses come back. And we continued the Let's Talk About Kink series. And this time we all did the kink test, which is not to be confused with the BDSM test, which we had previously done with them back in episode 746 in the summer. So Tony came back and we all did the kink test and talked about like the differences between the two and our opinions and thoughts on that. So yeah. Yep.
Yay.
And here we are in a new month.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I can only mean one thing. That's enough. Welcome to our tweet section. I have one this week. It's a little art from someone called Brunwut.
So
BRUWNT.
Yeah.
And it's called
I saw
Help a
this.
Dance.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this, and it's not necessarily. I'm not trying to take away from you sharing the post, Jeff. I don't think the person that posted this is the artist that actually created it in the beginning. But the only way I knew that is because I was going to follow them. I'm like, oh, I really like this art style. Like, this will be fun. But then I like went to their actual profile, looked at all the stuff that they've posted, and I'm like, that you didn't make this stuff. Like, usually if you have an artist, like you see things and like it's consistent or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who the artist necessarily is. But that being said,
maybe Snuggy Bear?
I don't think so. I'm trying to look at this picture.
Yeah,
and
because
so
there's
one of the things I'm
Rigel Bear
noticing,
there.
Yeah.
I think one problem is there's no signature on it. But I don't know if it's cropped or not.
There's an H and a B in the lower right corner.
Right. And that's what I'm thinking might be
That
it.
might be the same
But
thing.
again, yeah. But I could be wrong. We could be wrong. It could be cropped, like Jeff, like you said. It is entirely possible. That's the unfortunate of Twitter/X now, is that oftentimes, especially things that are popular, get grabbed by other people and imposed, and as opposed to like reposting it, they just save the image, sometimes edit the image, and then repost it as or post it as their own image. I mean, it's a good image. Don't get me wrong. I'm really enjoying this, and we would give credit to the original artist if we knew who they were.
And if you are the
'Cause the-
original artist, please let us know. We will fix the link to the original.
There you go.
And I think, I mean, this is a beef. This
Or
is a
somebody
rant that I
knows.
had back in the Tumblr days.
Yeah.
In
Well,
fact,
I think this
once
has
in a
always
blue
been a
moon-
problem on Twitter, even on before it turned to X.
Right. As I was saying, when I had it on Tumblr, like I made a big old rant about bitching and calling out a person who was posting a whole series of images as if they were their own of people that I directly knew, and I cross-linked them, and I was like, I had enough officially, and like went off and was like, listen here, you piece of shit motherfucker. Like I just like went on a complete tirade and was like, you absolutely do not know these people. You do not have the right to like pass them off. Like, and I like cross-linked and tagged everybody. Anyways, it's still on my Tumblr. Not that I'm ever on Tumblr anymore, but every once in a blue moon, like someone will comment on it or like, you know, or like it and share it. That like kind of gets, it's the only thing I've ever had that probably went viral. But I only bring it up because I was like, I remember back in the day, I was so passionate about Tumblr and people not like, you know, basically stealing stuff and taking it or whatever. And to your point, like it's just a thing that happens. And I think that, you know, people kind of do it. And so I don't know, that's where I'm not resigned, I guess, but I'm like, yeah, it's unfortunate. It'd be better if like, if you couldn't so easily save the image like I just did.
Mm-hmm.
So no, but I'm doing it for a reason though, because I'm going to do a reverse Google image search.
I was just thinking
'Cause
about
I'm
doing that myself.
Sneaky like that, because now I'm intrigued to know
All
whether or
right.
not.
Well, while they're investigating, I will talk about my Twitter retweet. This is from at Pine 2099, Adam Pine, who I followed recently. And it said, heading out west. Wait, where did it go? There it is. Dad's heading out west, Palm Springs, here I come. And I'm assuming that I feel is alluding to Palm Springs Leather Weekend, which was actually the weekend of my birthday. I had also thought about going there this year, as opposed to going to DC, Baltimore area. But just he's been a sexy kind of bigger bear guy. He's got a cowboy hat on. He's wearing, I think, looks like a coat. Yeah. And then nothing else. And he's got his beautiful penis in his hand.
I think that's a robe.
Oh, okay. Wait, I can't see the. Okay, I need to move it to this. I need to move it to this monitor. Oh yeah. See, what I thought was a zipper is just a lining on the robe. Yes, that is a robe.
Aha! Eureka. You found it. Anyways, moving on.
Nice. But
There we are. I'm
yeah.
switching my
Yeah.
mic.
So sexy Pine.
It
Thank you so much
is
for-
a very hot pick.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the vibe is really giving me save a horse, ride this cowboy.
True that.
Same.
True that. Yeah. He's I've been seeing his stuff recently. I think he again showed up in my like post you would like, and I have definitely been liking what I've been seeing because he's definitely into like costumes, and I don't want to say cosplay, but and he also loves stroking his dick. So that part. That's the most important part.
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted. But I've also been paying very much attention to your pick. I'm going to do a quick rewind. My pick is I'm calling Helping Hands. And it's from @tent_pitcher. Happy Sunday, studs. Hope you have a glorious week. Go balls to the wall, as a buddy of mine once said. In this case, balls through the wall. And we got a naked, bearish guy. Must have been giving a blowjob to somebody who's now getting face paint job from said cock.
Mm-hmm.
From another beefy guy in another stall in a bathroom. And there's this little arm underneath with a phone. Recording the whole thing.
Because the general rule is if you're going to do shit in public, someone's probably going to film it.
Hashtag gay bears, hashtag bear porn, hashtag glory hole, hashtag daddy bears, hashtag hairy daddies.
Check, 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 check. Nice.
Mhm.
So there's that.
I'm not linking the other one.
Cool.
Thank you, Gary.
Gary.
So I have two. The first one is called "Who Needs Help Laying Some Pipe," and this is from @safer_sax SAX.
Oh,
So this is a Halloween costume dress up kind of post, and actually there's a little video and then a still image
Oh,
of pool party graves showing off their costume, so to speak. Yes, Damon.
no, I'm fine.
So they're wearing a professional short sleeve button down work shirt that has two patches on it. The patch on the left says pipe laying expert, and the patch on the right says we lay pipe all night long. And then they have a matching like trucker cap. So it's obviously like a parody, like punny
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And so
Indeed.
yeah.
Hello,
Uh-huh.
little cubby. Hello, little cubby. Like, I'm. I am not a
Yes.
bottom. I am not a bottom.
But I hear a
I
butt
wouldn't.
coming.
I wouldn't bottom for this, but I do enjoy this penis. Like,
look, it may not be going in the rear, but maybe some fun in the front.
yeah, yeah. Like it's got like these great pair of balls. Sorry, just and it looks like it's a nice little like thickness. There's a bit of thickness to it. Yeah. Okay, I need to go look at you. Hold on. Come here.
And in addition, there are a couple of replies of a picture in the video of people who's asking for some service.
Yes.
Oh, and he's got a nice little booty. Just fuck. Anyway, I need to go away from this person. Follow. Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah.
All right. And then my second one is called Throwback to Shenanigans. So this happens to be somebody that I know Damon is a fan of.
Why are you doing it to me, Gary?
Well, you've probably already seen it or shared it anyway.
Yes.
So this is @Skin and Earth. It's SK1NANDEARTH if you're looking them up. It says Throwback to Shenanigans in an abandoned building with the sexy @BJ Cub 10, who I think we've like had in previous postings before as well. And I think I forgot about this collab that Skin and Earth and BJ Cub 10 had like done some stuff.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
Yeah. But it's a fun photo. of the two of them in this abandoned building. It has all this like great graffiti on the walls in the background, with like the wood rafters above, and Skin and Earth is in his usual like natural birthday suit because that's what he loves to do as a naturist, nudist. And BJ is making himself available for oral manipulations, but
Demonstrating his namesake or his handle.
yeah,
There you go.
but
There you go.
it's a good. I like the composition of the photo because the camera is like down on an upward angle, like, and it's not like straight on or anything. Anyways, I just really like.
Yeah,
I was like, yes,
it
this
is a good picture.
This is good.
I've already liked it, and I probably liked it when he shared it the first time or whatever. Like it, yeah. Shocker, like
Yeah.
naturist, daddy-ish type bear that is very open and free with his body. I find myself attracted to it. Shocker.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
His tags
No, I
are
agree.
Bear Uncut Peg Cruiser. And it has a
Yeah.
link to his link tree.
Know about that. Anyway, sorry. I am. So one of the new things for everybody, patrons and listening, I'm in my office now for the podcast. So I now have two screens, which is great because I can just like, here's my main screen and I can like throw things over here and just like look at things
Get distracted.
like dick. Look at things like dick. Mm-mm-mm. Anyway,
Moving on into the links. Say, have you ever had that urge to ask the question?
Really?
What's Sloppy Joe?
So, for those that are only listening, Jeff just pulled a visual sight thing where he had a Sloppy Joe sandwich just waiting the entire episode for this moment on a plate so that he could sit and eat it while I apparently narrate what's happening, because the last thing people really want to listen to is someone eating on the microphone, because we're not an ASMR kind of like podcast
Yeah.
like that. But
good
that being said,
gravy. So what is your I'll let you finish your chewing.
so anyways,
But
it's
what is
obvious.
your
That's
from
literally the title
mythical-
of this video. Will it Sloppy Joe? And then it has taste test for the algorithm. It's an episode of Good Mythical Morning where they ask the age-old question, will it Sloppy Joe? Which made me hungry for Sloppy Joes. So this weekend, I bought myself ingredients to make Sloppy Joes, which is why I literally have the Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe? Sloppy Joe. Good for you. I guess
Well, it is
again,
my...
I'm assuming you made a traditional Sloppy Joe.
Yeah, this is just the McCormick seasoning packet, a can of this small can of tomato paste and water and ground beef.
Got it.
But
I
it made
was just thinking
me
about it.
hungry. So Will is one of my
You ate
favorite
it.
series of Good Mythical Morning. Just because of the weirdness and the grossness that can happen in these episodes, and some of the, that's interesting. That might be something I want to try at some point in time. I do have to admit that I did buy the Mythical Cookbook on my Kindle. On Kindle. So I think it might have some of the Willets in here. I'm not sure. I haven't really perused it that much. But that's my link I wanted to share. Well, I finished with Sloppy Joe. Gary?
Um, so I wrote yes, comma, still, dot, dot, dot. Agatha all along. It technically was my pick last month, but that's because it was one episode a week and it was for like 6-7 weeks.
8.
I think it was 7.
Well, they had 8. They had 9 episodes, so if
Right.
they were doing
And they
one,
did a
but
double
they did
premiere
2.
and a double
Right.
end.
Yeah. God damn it! Every time, whatever.
It's okay. Um. Anyways, this show, if you have Disney Plus,
Hmm.
and you don't really have to be into Marvel or like the Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, because by the way, she's not in it. Spoiler: she doesn't make a cameo. Everybody, calm down. That was a big thing that people thought was going to happen.
Right.
Patty fucking Lupone is in the show. So if you're a Broadway person, you know who Patty is, you should watch it for that.
Yeah.
Her episode,
Mm-hmm.
the episode, I think it's episode 7,
Mm-hmm.
is so good.
Yeah. There's so much going on in the show.
Yeah.
And again, I know we're not trying to spoil, but oh boy, it's pretty
There's
freaking
been a
amazing.
lot of talk, and granted, this is within the bubble of things that I watch. There's been a lot of talk that people think like she's going to get a nomination for her portrayal in this particular
Wow.
series. And I can understand it. She really channels this particular character that she plays, Lilia Calderon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they pay off on something that's been happening all season long that you're kind of like, what the hell? And I knew what it was going to be, because the closer you got to this episode, it became more and more obvious kind of what was happening. You just weren't really quite understanding it fully, and then they explained all of it. Anyways, the season has ended. The series theoretically has ended. And the reason why I say theoretically is a bunch of people were like, it was, well regarded, well liked. A lot of people have saying it's like their favorite Marvel television series to date on Disney Plus. So some people are like talking out their ass, I feel like, and they're like, "Oh, there'll be a season 2." And I'm like, "No, you guys aren't paying attention." Like Jack Schaefer and Disney have said, like there's a series that's 3 parts. So there was WandaVision, Agatha All Along, and then Vision Quest. Like, and that's not going to come out until 2 years from now in 2026. And Terry Matalas, who did Star Trek Picard the last season, is going to be the one that's like show running that. So anyways, but Catherine Hahn is really good at it. Yeah. And that's not fair. Every Marvel fan that I watch online that saw the episode freaked out about the reveal in the 8th episode, which you think is the last episode of the one character. They felt it was like spot on representation.
Yeah.
So anyways, I don't want to give anything away, but it was so good.
Yeah. There was a lot in the last 2 episodes that helped tie several of the strings together. It made it gives you that wow sensation, like you didn't realize this was a thing until like you see these 2 episodes. And it's one of the few things I've watched of the recent Marvel stuff, I will admit. But I have been so engrossed in it, like watching like breakdown videos afterwards and all of that shit. That's how like I've enjoyed this particular series. And what a strong like representation of women, of older women, of just LGBTQ. Like there's just this really amazing good time, good like representing of things in this series. I would not be surprised if Patty got a nomination. Yeah, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, this is the most LGBTQ like representative and positive like in the MCU to date.
Right.
And it's interesting because there is a payoff in episode 8 that everyone all season long has been waiting for about will they, won't they?
Right.
And they do, but it's got so many layers to it. I don't want to give anything away, but
yeah, we're trying not to give too much away. So let's stop talking about it and move on.
It's like edging. It makes people, anyways.
That was last week's episode, Gary.
We were talking about a kink test.
Yeah, that was last week's episode.
Edging, I suppose edging could be considered a kink. So.
It is. Anyway, that being said,
I think that's the end. But anyways, to contact us, pop over to our website, cubsoutloud.com, which is slowly, well, let's just say the person who runs the site is super lazy and is very distracted. Because he's got other things he wants to do. But you can still comment on the blog on the shows. You can shoot us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail at 361-COL Talk. That's 361-265-8255. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Cubs Out Loud in the appropriate place of the URL. You can join our Entourage chat where you would have gotten a preview of my pick, video pick today. At bit.ly/telegram-col. You can find out when we're planning on recording these shows by following our Google Calendar at bit.ly/calendar-col. Get various accoutrements, such as some new merch that will be coming soon as I get off my lazy butt. Over at zazzle.com/cubsoutloud. Some of those designs, including the new ones, were designed by Smashy. You can find more of his work at TeePublic, tpublic.com/user/Smashy the Bear. You can also become a patron at patreon.com/cubsoutloud or send us a donation at paypal.me/cubsoutloud. Pop over to any of the podcasting platforms. You should be able to find us there. And I think some of them cache the feed, so some of them you might be able to get the older shows on. Even though the current feed doesn't really have them. That's at Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, Audible. Find me anywhere on the internet as Boxset, Box Puppy, Box God, Box something or other.
If you wish to get in touch with me, you can find me at pup_umbra on Twitter or pupumbra79 on Blue Sky. Those are definitely not safe for work. For the safe for work stuff, you can find me as DMAGamer79 on Twitter or TikTok.
If you would like to get in touch with me, you can pretty much find me anywhere online as GareBear73.
And with that, say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.
Bye-bye.